Thought I would tell you some things you ought to consider when buying a dubbing twister. Most of us start off with the twister. These are the normal ones. Just comes with a metal hook, and then there's some kind of handle that's a weight. And then you just take your loop, hook it on there, spread the loop, insert your material, and then spin it. And that's, pinch and then spin. That's the norm. Then you have the type where, to make it a little easier for you to add your materials, the double bend type. All right? So this facilitates leaving a little bit wider gap, and see how it spreads the thread so that you can get in there easily and add your material. Once again, you pinch, then you spin. Now, these type is actually a spring steel. And what you do here is you slip it in and see how wide it opens, and then you tug on it and it closes it, you pinch. All right? And once again, you spin, but you spin by using the little ball bearing thing, which is just fun as hell. Now, this is a little bit different here. This one's a hook, and this is the newest one out. And what you do is you hook it through the bottom, hook it through that top piece, and then if you point it at the hook and run it right up next to it, the loop closes. But if you open it up, it allows you to, gives you a really big gap, slips it in, close it by pointing it towards the hook, and then wrap it around that hook, and then of course you spin. All right? Now, I don't need a really wide gap, and I don't like this because I just don't need a gap. What I was trying to solve was, if I use the hook, it closed the loop so much that I could barely find the loop again. So what I did was take a piece of tubing, clear tubing, threaded it onto the tip of the hook, and then see how I hook it there, and it leaves just enough of an opening so I can pick it apart, slip my materials. It doesn't spread it very far, pinch, and then spin as usual. Now, this gets a little foo-foo here. Once again, it's got the hook. I modified it, put the clear tubing on there, hook it up, spin, and then twist. But as soon as when you get done spinning, you can take it and bend, and it's got a hinge on it. And what that does is let you wrap your collar around your hook really easily. So that's pretty slick. So these are the things you ought to consider. First off, what's the hook design that you like? All right. The reason I have these is because these are out of OPST, and I watch Jerry French's compound loops, and I like this thing. It is heavier than heck. I've taken their spinning dubbing twister, added a tubing to make it easy to load material or find my loop, added a weight. This is just a shaft collar, and then I added this thread protector. The knob underneath here is knurled to easy to grip, but I like the little rubber knob. So this sucker, it's really good for compound loops. And when you're doing compound loops, you're creating a brush out of a lot of heavy materials, and that's why I like that much weight on there. This is much of the same thing also. I just wish that it was perhaps a little heavier. And I've looked into probably taking this apart and adding, increasing the length of the nut and then adding some weights into there. That's another possibility with this. Now, for light duty, I like just the plain old, I like this sucker. And believe it or not, I also like this for my deer hair. And I think I like it the most because I've had it the longest. And I like it because of that. I can twiddle my thumbs and spin that sucker. And when I'm doing deer hair, I need a loop really quick to grab that hair. And see, with this type, I can't spin it fast enough to create the dubbing rush. And so with this, and it's heavy, it spins really well. And I have two of these, in fact, and you can't get them anymore, and I ain't going to share my other one. But this one I like. But these are very close. These are CNF, and I believe that one is a Stonefold. So you can still get these. So the compromise that I have is this. It's got the hook. It's got the tubing on there. It's got the ball bearing, and then it bends so that I can use it to wrap. So those are the things you got to consider. The loop, how you capture that loop and place your material into it, and then how are you going to spin it? Are you going to use weight, or are you going to use this ball bearing? And what kind of materials are you using? That'll dictate what you ought to get in terms of a dubbing twister. Thank you.